told you it was love. They convinced you it was normal. They made you believe the problem was you. But somewhere beneath the confusion, the self-doubt, the endless explanations that never quite made sense, you knew something was wrong. This is where we stop pretending. This is where we examine what they never wanted you to see. The patterns that controlled you, the systems that protected them. If you've ever found yourself not only blamed within your family, but also caught in the exhausting cycle of needing to prove your worth through endless productivity, only to be dismissed or scapegoated when you fail to meet impossible demands, you're experiencing something that goes way deeper than just family dysfunction. You're caught at the intersection of patriarchal capitalism and narcissistic abuse. And it's a particularly brutal combination. Maybe you were the child who could never work hard enough, never achieve enough, never be productive enough to earn basic respect. Or maybe you're the adult partner who's criticized for your career choices, your income, your work ethic, while simultaneously being told you're too focused on work and not caring enough about the relationship. The goalposts keep moving, don't they? Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today we're talking about how patriarchal capitalist values get weaponized in narcissistic families and relationships, and why scapegoats often find themselves trapped in impossible cycles of productivity, burnout, and blame. This dynamic is particularly insidious because it combines personal abuse with societal messaging that many of us have internalized. In patriarchal capitalist systems, your worth gets tied to your productivity, your achievements, your ability to compete and succeed. Now layer that onto a narcissistic family or relationship system, and you've got a perfect storm. The person wielding power in these systems uses capitalist ideals as weapons. They enforce ideas about work ethic, success, financial responsibility, and achievement, but they do it selectively and unfairly. They hold you to standards they don't apply to themselves or to their preferred family members or partners. Here's what makes this so damaging. Patriarchal capitalism already teaches us that our value comes from what we produce, how much we achieve, how well we compete. It's a system that thrives on hierarchy, control, and the suppression of vulnerability. When someone with narcissistic tendencies gets hold of these values, they become tools of abuse. You might have experienced being blamed for not being ambitious enough while watching others in the family get praised for minimal effort, or being criticized for working too much while also being told you don't contribute enough financially. Maybe you were expected to be the responsible one, the achiever, the one who would make the family look good, but when you succeeded, it was never acknowledged, and when you struggled, it proved you were the problem. In intimate relationships, this might look like a partner who criticizes your career choices, your income level, or your work-life balance while contributing little themselves. They might demand you be more successful while also sabotaging your efforts. They want you to embody capitalist ideals of productivity and achievement, but only in ways that serve them. The cruelest part is how this system makes you responsible for outcomes you can't control. Economic downturns become your fault for not being successful enough. Family financial stress becomes your responsibility to fix. The household's inability to meet societal standards of success gets blamed on your inadequacy, your lack of ambition, your failure to work hard enough. What's really happening is that whoever holds power in the system is using capitalist values to maintain control and avoid accountability. They're deflecting their own failures, insecurities, and responsibilities onto you by framing everything in terms of individual merit and achievement. The patriarchal aspect adds another layer because it often involves rigid gender expectations and power dynamics. Maybe you were expected to be traditionally successful while also being submissive. Or maybe you were criticized for not conforming to gender expectations about work, money, and responsibility. This is why recovery from scapegoating often involves not just healing from family trauma, but also questioning the capitalist messaging you've internalized about your worth. The exhaustion you feel isn't just from being blamed and criticized. It's from trying to prove your value through a system designed to keep you striving, but never arriving. You might have found yourself working harder than everyone else for less recognition. Taking responsibility for problems that weren't yours to solve. Believing that if you just achieved more, worked harder, became more successful, maybe then you'd finally be valued and the abuse would stop. But here's the reality check. No amount of productivity or achievement was ever going to change how you were treated. The scapegoating wasn't about your actual worth, your actual effort, or your actual contributions. It was about maintaining a power structure that needed someone to blame and someone to carry the burden of responsibility. The person scapegoating you benefits from keeping you in this cycle. Your endless striving to prove yourself serves their need for control. Your willingness to take responsibility for systemic problems serves their need to avoid accountability. Your internalized belief that you must earn your worth through achievement serves their need to feel superior without actually being superior. You weren't failing the system. The system was designed to make you fail, while others succeeded with less effort and accountability. You weren't the problem child, the unsuccessful one, the irresponsible one. You were the pressure valve in a broken system that couldn't function without someone to blame. The intersection of patriarchal capitalism and narcissistic abuse creates a particularly toxic environment because it makes the abuse seem reasonable, even virtuous. Holding someone to impossible standards gets framed as having high expectations. Blaming someone for systemic failures gets framed as personal responsibility. Demanding endless productivity gets framed as a good work ethic. But none of that was about helping you succeed or grow. It was about control, deflection, and maintaining hierarchy. Your worth was never tied to your productivity, your achievements, or your ability to meet impossible standards. Your worth was inherent, and the system that taught you otherwise was designed to keep you small, striving, and carrying responsibility that was never yours to carry. How do you see capitalist values about worth and success shaping the way you were scapegoated within your family or relationship? Where were you blamed for not fitting into those harsh expectations that nobody else was expected to meet? This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Visit our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com for articles, resources, and more support on your recovery journey. This work is hard, really hard. Questioning everything you were taught, seeing systems that were invisible, sitting with truth that change how you see the world. It's exhausting and overwhelming sometimes. There's no timeline for this, no right way to process it. We've gone daily now because these conversations matter. Subscribe so new episodes land automatically when they drop.